Right now, did they take that loss and let the down box spin, or did they take the penalty? The officials are talking it over with the purple gang right at the 40-yard line. And it looks like they're going to decline the penalty.
Number 37, penalty is declined. Third down.
Did I hear 77? No, Grant. Right. So the penalty decline, as you might imagine, to spin the down box and bring up 3rd and 11. Now the Rams bring Caplity back in the game. Billy Waddy is in as a wide receiver to the far side to take out the tight end. On 3rd and 11, back to passes Haden from his own 40, sets up at the 30, throws long down the middle of the field. Jesse is right there at the 35, he's got it, and down at the 31-yard line. And Jesse was wide open in the center of the field. The free safety is the assignment, Tom Haden. And let's point out that Haden is one of 3 new men in the defensive backfield for the Vikings. Cannon replaced the aging Paul Krause. Bill Wise, Jeff Wright is out with knee surgery, and they have a rookie cornerback. That bears watching. Nate Wright out. John Turner is in. The formation far side of the field. Now backfield for the Los Angeles Rams. Caplity and Cullen Bryant. 31-yard line of the Vikings. The handoff is to Caplity. Breaks a tackle off the right side inside the 30 and down to the 28-yard line. As Tom Hannon, the free safety, forced to make the tackle again.
At this point, the Rams have been running Cullen Bryant to the outside. They feel now, with the running Cullen Bryant to the outside, they can take that Minnesota defense and make them play outside so they can come underneath with John Cappelletti just like that. A cutback to John Cappelletti underneath.
The Rams put Nelson in the game. They take out Ron Jesse. They have Waddy in as a wide receiver. Waddy to the far side, middle to the near side. Ryan split in the backfield. It's 2nd and 7, 28-yard line. Big opening up the middle. Cullen Bryant is down to the 15, down to the 10. Showing incredible acceleration up the middle of the Minnesota Vikings defensive line. Burst through a gaping hole and tumbled down to the 10-yard line of the Vikings. In essence, 1st and goal to go for the Los Angeles Rams at the 10 of Minnesota.
Good play by Cullen Bryant. Looked like if he kept his head up and made the right move, could have cakewalked it right in for 6 points. Other than that, great play.
Waddy off to the far side. He's with Willie Miller there. Miller inside, Waddy outside. 1st and 10 Rams, 10-yard line. He hands it off. It's to Caplity. Has an opening. He makes his way to the 6-yard line. The Rams running hard as Caplity going right through the center of the line and whipping off 4 for Los Angeles. That leaves them 6 away from the goal line. It will bring up 2nd and goal to go at the 6. Bryant 45 yards in the game on 8 carries. Caplity 5 for 19. The Vikings, as you know, have been going almost exclusively through the air. Waddy breaking off to the far side. On the near side is Willie Miller. And high backfield, Caplity along with Cullen Bryant. 2nd and goal to go from the 6-yard line of the Vikings. Pitch to the far side. Cullen Bryant cutting. No, they got him by an ankle. And down he goes. He will have lost yardage. He falls at the 8-yard line. He was tripped up from behind, tried to go over the tackle of Sutherland, but he stuck a hand out of the swamp and pulled him back down to earth. And it will now be 3rd down for the Rams and goal to go from the 8. And they bring in Ron Jesse now and take out Billy Waddy.
That's a tough play for Cullen Bryant. He's pitching the ball towards the line of scrimmage. He has to make his move and catch the ball, and it's kind of tough when he smashed across the line of scrimmage like that.
Down close, the Vikings bring in Carl Little for some extra beef. Miller on the near side, Jesse the far side. Running backs, Cappelletti along with Cullen Bryant. Miller in motion toward the far side. As Haden rolls out to the far side, looking for blocking. Going to scramble. He throws in the line of the end zone. Touchdown, Rams! In the end zone, it's Willie Miller, and the Rams break out in front 6-3 with 11:20 to go in the 2nd quarter. Being waved back and forth by this capacity crowd in the Coliseum this afternoon. 71,000 plus. And now the top kick scorer in the league. And rookie Frank Correll, 118 points. We'll try to make it 119. Cromwell kneeling between the hash marks at the 10. Waiting for the snap from Isaac. He gets it. The placement. The kick is away. And the kick is perfect. Time on the field with 11.5 minutes remaining in the 2nd quarter. And the score, the Rams 7 and the Vikings 3.
restrictions apply and seats are limited. Call Continental or your travel agent for details. Continental has a discount fare to fit everyone's travel plan. Call today about our Super Savers and other discount fares.
First touchdown scored in the game by Los Angeles. Haden to Willie Miller, an 8-yard touchdown pass with 11:30 to go in the second quarter. The Rams now lead it 7-3 here in the Coliseum. The Vikings getting ready for the kickoff. They have Robert Miller in the center of the field. He's flanked on the near side by Brett McClanahan and Harry Washington on the far side. The closed under the Coliseum. Corral has the ball 35-yard line to your right. Starts forward, swings that foot into it. It's a line drive kick over the head of Washington. He's going back in the end zone to down it. And it will be a touchback for the Minnesota Vikings. They'll take over at their own 20-yard line. He tried to flag down the ball over his head. I wonder if he might have just partially deflected it. If that was the case, it would just be a muff like we saw in one of the playoff games yesterday, and he had to get back there to go and pounce on the football, but it would not have been a safety if he was tackled in the end zone. So he went back there, got on the football, and made it a touchback, and they take over at their own 20-yard line. The Vikings, with that incredible startup of 6 men in the offensive backfield, now they break it. Wide receiver on the near side is right far side Rashad. Lone setback Foreman. He slants off the right side. The Vikings, the Rams are there, and they bring him down at the 20-yard line. Bob Budzinski forced on the play, pulling down Chuck Foreman. But exclusively in this game, Dick, it has been the passes of Tarkington and the runs of Foreman. Absolutely no secret about it. They've shown a lot of different formations, but those are the only two things they've done. The Rams now going with a nickel defense. They bring in Nolan Cromwell. They take out Jack Reynolds and Bob Budzinski and bring in Isaiah Robertson. And the crowd in the Coliseum chanting defense on 2nd and 10 for the Viking 20. A pro set. Back to passes. Tarkington. Pressure on. Still after him at the 5. He's on his feet at the 5. Starts upfield. Throws on the run. Caught at the 30-yard line by Ahmad Rashad. And it's a Viking first down off the scramble by Tarkington. That's what makes Tarkington so good, is because he plays with guys that know where he is, and he knows how to scramble and find his players. That's knowing your quarterback and also quarterback knowing his receivers. They know how to get open when he's back there and in trouble. Red Guard came very close to making that tackle, Al, and stopping him there maybe inside the 10. That's old teammates, both of them playing on the same New York Giants team. Had him chased all the way back to the 5. He started up the far sideline, threw on the run, and hit Rashad, who broke back toward the ball as the Vikings are taught to do. So it's 1st and 10 Minnesota at their own 31-yard line. Foot formation. Rashad and White to the far side. Wing back near side is Ricky Young. The lone setback is the Vikings Foreman. Rolling out near side to passes Tarkington. He throws a dart. It's to Bob Tucker at the 35, the 40-yard line, the 45, breaking tackles along the way across the 50 and down to the 48 of the Rams. Another first down through the air for the Minnesota Vikings as Fran Tarking now is 10 of 15 in the game. Top receiver Rashad, 5 for 71. Tucker now has 2 catches in the game. Well, Tarkington came out there with what we call flood the area. He had 3 receivers in one side of the field. He had to pick them. And he rolls out to that side so he can pick out anyone he wants and drop the ball off to. And if Tucker was a receiver on that, picked up the first down. Last man made the tackle. That was Billy Simpson, and that's a bad sign. The Vikings with the back split in the pro set for one rare time. Tarkington back to pass on first down. Cranks up, throws a wobbler in midair down the far sideline. They leap forward incomplete. The 15, both men out of bounds. Ahmad Rashad and Rod Perry leaping for the football. A wounded duck with a high trajectory thrown by Tarkington to that far sideline. An incomplete pass. Will it back to the line of scrimmage and bring up 2nd and 10. Rams football brought to you by Chevron USA. Your Chevron man is a full line of quality Atlas batteries with one that's just right for your car, including the Atlas Worry-Free battery, famous for fast and long cranking power. The Worry-Free also resists water loss, corrosion, and self-discharge. Ask your Chevron dealer about it. Nickel defense in for Los Angeles. That means that Robertson and Cromwell are in. The Vikings counter, sending in an extra wide receiver in Harry Washington. Tarkington back to pass, cranks up, throws to the far sideline, complete. Intended for Harry Washington down the far sideline, inside position to Rod Perry, but neither man seemed to pick up the ball in midair, and it tumbled incomplete at the numeral at the 20-yard line. 3rd and 10 for the Vikings. The ball at the 48 of Los Angeles.
After looking at the last two passes talking to his thrown, I see why he stays with his short stuff. If he's throwing him end over head over 30 yards, he's more effective with his short things, but he knows how to get out of trouble. When he's rushed like that, he just puts it up for grabs. He tries to put it up in a safe area. If his man can't get it, no one else can.
3rd and 10 for the Vikings. The 48 of the Rams. Rams leading full check that 7-3, a 4-point lead. Double wide receivers near side, right in the shot. Targeted back to pass. Sets up at his own 43. Moves up in the pocket. Throws near sideline. Caught out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Billy Simpson troubling. It was intended for Sammy White, but White had both feet down on that 6-foot wide short border. It was incomplete as he was out of bounds. 4th down for the Vikings at the Rams 48, and Greg Coleman will have to come in to punt. Coleman, a newcomer from the Browns. Neil Clabo could not cut it this year, so Coleman at Cullen, he's done a pretty good job. 39.4 his average. Stands back 35-yard line to your right. The Rams check that to your left, and the Rams have Wallace back at the 13 to your right. Here's the snap below and knee level, but the Rams have no rush on. Here's a nose-up spiral to the near sideline. Wallace at his shoulder at the 6, cutting laterally to the far side, trying to pick up the block. He's got an opening. If he can put it upfield, he's at the 10. He's at the 15. Cuts back, and the Vikings come from behind and pull him down at the 18-yard line. Dickey appeared to have an opening for a long kickoff return, but couldn't find it.
I didn't think he had a hole there, Al. I think he could have made his move, turned it up the field course. I'm about 100,000 miles away, but from here it looked like he was close to breaking it.
8 minutes and 36 seconds remaining in the first half. A timeout on the field with the score, the Rams 7 and the Vikings 3. Doesn't it seem like every time you pick up a newspaper, there's another article about rising prices? Farmers Insurance Group knows you're concerned, and they are too, especially about the high cost of insurance. And that's why they've made it their business to find out ways to help you lower your premiums. Take car insurance, for example. If you haven't smoked in 2 years, you may qualify for a non-smoker discount. If you're between the ages of 30 and 60, you may take advantage of a special Careful Age discount. Good students may save too. And if you own more than one car, you may realize savings with a multiple car discount. Some homeowners may enjoy lower premiums with Farmer's new $500 deductible plan, while others may benefit from non-smoker homeowners insurance. The point of all this is, no matter who you are or what you do, the chances are Farmers has a way to help you save money. Find out more today from a fast, fair, and friendly Farmers agent. The Rams 12-4, Western Division champions in the NFC. The Vikings with a record of 8-7-1, NFC Central Division champs, but barely. The Rams in the second half of the season, 5-4. The Vikings won only one of their final 5 games. So both teams playing a bit better in the first half of the season than in the second half. The Rams taking over at their own 19-yard line, and again the fans in the Coliseum chanting, "Go Rams, go!" First and 10, Los Angeles, their own 19-yard line. Jesse far side, Miller on the near side, and I backfield of Camp-Luddy and Cullen Bryant. Haden sends Miller in motion to the far side to create a flip formation. He goes back to pass. Sets up at the 11. Double clutches. Throws. He hits Miller at the 30. He's got him blocking. He's up to the 40-yard line and out of bounds. Willie Miller on the crossing pattern. Up to the near noon roll. Caught the ball. Picked up a bit of a block and up to the 40-yard line for a Ram first down.
That was a good call by Haden. He had 3 people on that play, and he could have just taken his chances on anyone and come up with a completion. He went with Miller and did a job, and that's the way the Rams feel they can beat Minnesota by going over the top.
The course, Jesse to the far side and Miller to the near side. 8:26 to go in the first half. Rams leading 7-3. They have it their own 39. First and 10. Haden back to pass. Sends the backs out. Flips it to Cap-Luddy at the far side. He's up to 35. He's up to 40. Weaving his way upfield to the 45-yard line and spilled at the 45 of the Rams. That will leave them 4 short of the first down. It will now be 2nd and 4 as Jeff Seaman, who makes most of the tackles for the Vikings, came up with a big play. He's out of Bakersfield, and then Stanford now makes his home in Minnesota. The middle linebacker, the defensive leader of the Vikings, Jeff Seaman. A substitution for Minnesota, Hilgenberg in. James White, a defensive lineman out, so they're going with a 3-4 defense. Jesse to the far side, Miller to the near side. The backs are split. Capilotti and Cullen Bryant. Bryant to the far side. The handoff is to Cullen Bryant. Has a head of steam. Breaks through the middle of the line. On his feet, they're trying to buck him sideways. He's to the 48-yard line and down right there. And that looks like it might be a bit shy of the first down as he again kept second effort, and those legs churning and almost picked it up, Dick.
Looks like he didn't get his forward progress on it. I thought he had initially picked up the first down, and maybe the second effort threw him back, and the Zeebs went right for the second effort rather than the first. Forward progress, I think, should be the one that should overrule it, but not so. Third and short for the Rams. They put in some deep in there, I guess.
Yes, they are. They're going with a jumbo defense. They're going with 6 defensive linemen, the Vikings are. The Rams countering now with their jumbo offense. Everybody up on that line of scrimmage. It's 3rd and 1 for Los Angeles. He turns, he hands it off, breaking the first Capilotti. The 45 is caught from behind at the 38-yard line of the Vikings by Nate Allen. A great call by the Rams, because had he gotten past that line of scrimmage with a little bit more speed, he would have been going all the way for a touchdown.
My favorite play on short yardage is off tackle like that, because if you bust a seam, you can get everything out of it, maybe 6. John came very close to busting that all the way down to the goal line for a level score.
38-yard line, 1st and 10 for Los Angeles. The Jets to the far side and Miller to the near side. Running backs Capilotti and Cullen Bryant. It's Capilotti to the far side, Cullen Bryant to the near side. Haden calling the singles on 1st and 10. Just outside the 30 of the Vikings. Short drop, throw to the far sideline. It is caught by Jesse out of a tackle. No, he can't get out of it, but he keeps his legs turning and may have picked up the first down as he went out of bounds. Where did they place it? Looks like he might be a bit shy of it. But a good catch and good second effort as John Turner ran him out of bounds. And let's pause for station identification. This is Rams Radio 78.
This is the year's biggest weekend for football. And Monday night, that's what we'll be talking about on KMPC. This is Roger Carroll inviting you to talk football with me and my special guest, Dick Bass, starting at 7:30 Monday night. We'll be taking calls from the fans in an exciting show on this station. 710 KMPC Los Angeles.
3rd and 1. Haden back to pass. He throws over the middle. Incomplete to Terry Nelson at the 18-yard line. Nelson put his hand up, tried to flag it down with the right hand at the 20 at the number on the near side of the field, but could not knock it down and catch it. So on 2nd and 1, the Rams trying to cross up the Vikings and go with the pass. That now brings up 3rd and 1 as the ball is just across the 30-yard line of Minnesota.
Well, I don't know if Nelson's going to come up with that pass or not. The ball was a little high and wide, and it's kind of tough. Had he caught the ball, it would have been a great catch. So I thought Nelson made a great try after that ball. I think it was just a little too wide high.
Timeout called in the field by the Rams, and we'll take advantage of it with 6:08 remaining in the first half. And the score, the Rams 7 and the Vikings 3.
What comes out?
Rams leading by a score of 7-3 with 6 minutes and 8 seconds to go in the second quarter. Al Wisk along with Dick Bass and Steve Bailey. Glad you're with us wherever you might be throughout Southern California and the great Southwest. This game blacked out, of course, in the Los Angeles area. We estimate, millions in listenership this afternoon for this Rams-Vikings playoff game. The Vikings had a jumbo defense in there, but now they take out very quickly 2 defensive linemen, thinking the Rams might try and cross them up again by going to the outside on the running play or passing. Let's see what they do. The Rams remain with their jumbo offense. They have it 3rd and 1 inside the 30 of the Vikings. The handoff, bobbled, Capilotti. Capilotti keeps his legs turning, tries to bend forward for the first down. It's going to be very close. They had it 3rd and 1. They had to get it across the 29-yard line. Capilotti couldn't find the handle on the football as he hit the left side of the line, retained possession, and then tried to back across for the first down. The officials have placed the football down in the vicinity of the 29 of the Vikings, and now they want to be very careful about it and bring in the chains. So very quickly, the linesmen racing in with the chain gang, and they will place down one end of it, the middle link at the 35, and they stretch out the chains, and the Rams are going to be short. Short by a little less than a foot. And now the fans in the Coliseum pulsating those pom-poms, saying, go for it. What will Malavasi do? 4 previous times the Rams have been humiliated by the Vikings. What will happen this afternoon? They're going to go for it. Jumbo offense remains in. 4th and a foot. 29 of the Vikings. Haden turns. He hands it off. Kaplan, he has the first down. He is down to the 26-yard line of Minnesota.
Well, the Rams are determined. I think this is a boost for the offense, but Coach Mallett basically telling them to go for it on fourth down. And they went for it, and I think this is what the offense really needs to get them going in this ball game to try to turn this thing into a rout.
And Rams football is brought to you by Bank of America or Visa. When you're Visa, wait a minute. Has Bank of America out on top of it, has Bank of America behind it. Once a Ram, always a Ram.
Haden, the quarterback, calling the signals. The Rams have it at the 27 of the Vikings. He's back to pass. Deep drop, maybe trying to set up the screen. No, it's an incomplete pass. The Vikings want intentional grounding as he kind of threw the ball backhanded. He backhanded the ball forward, trying to get it to Cullen Bryant. As the Vikings had a hold of him, Jim Marshall, the veteran, had a hold of him. As Haden going back, Marshall after him, and he tried to throw the ball backhanded away from his body as you would make a backhanded stroke in tennis. An incomplete pass, and he's very lucky they didn't call him for intentional grounding. It will be 2nd and 10 at the 28-yard line, and after putting on that pressure, the aging Jim Marshall trots on to the far side of the field. The Rams deploy Jesse to the far side and Miller the near side. Back shifted toward the near side of the field. Cullen Bryant along with John Cappelletti. Haden calling the singles. 2nd and 10. He hands it off to Cullen Bryant, who was caught and spun down as he crossed the line. His momentum carried him to the 25 for a gain of 2. It will now be 3rd and 8 for the Rams from the 25 of the Vikings as Doug Sutherland, the 9-year veteran from Superior State, Wisconsin, tackled it.
It looks like now maybe Pat Haden will have to come with play-action passing. The rush is too tough right now, and you got to keep those Minnesota Viking defensive linemen at home, and maybe play action and go over the top might be the way to do it.
Jesse is right. Miller is left. Rams driving toward the close end of the Coliseum. Haden back to pass. Pumps once. He releases. Incomplete. Thrown behind Jesse at the 7-yard line, who appeared to be open. It threw him behind him. Jesse put on the brakes at the 7. His feet went out from underneath him between the hash marks. An incomplete pass. 4th down upcoming for the Rams, and the specialty team in. And it's Frank Corral who is getting set. The line of scrimmage is the 26. Corral concentrating near hash mark, 33-yard line. It will be a 43-yard attempt. The top field goal kicker in the NFL awaiting the snap from Reiser, along with Cromwell. The Vikings will try to block. Here's the placement. The kick is away. It has the distance. It is good. And the Rams break out to a 7-point lead over the Minnesota Vikings. Frank Corral with a field goal for Los Angeles. And for Frank, that was his 30th field goal of the year. And the Rams lead it 10-3. Let's remind you, Ram football brought to you by the folks at Chevrolet, along with your local Chevy dealer. We invite you to come on in and see a winning lineup of cars for 1979.
Pretty impressive drive. The Rams moved the ball. They had to go for 4th and inches for first down. They did that. They moved into scoring territory, got 3 points on the board, and I thought Haden came up out with a pretty good pump fake, but he threw behind Jesse. When Jesse came open, maybe he had to power through with that ball. It could have been in completion, possibly 6 points. But anytime you go in there and chip in with at least 3, you're doing all right.
Triple safeties, Dick, for the Vikings, and from right to left, they are Washington, Miller between the hash marks, and at the 10 the far side, Brent McClanahan, who lost his job in the regular offense to Ricky Young, picked up from the San Diego Chargers. Frank Corral, who just kicked that field goal, now placing the ball at the 35-yard line in the sunshine as the shadows starting to creep across the field as a crescent that cuts off about a quarter of the field right now as the sun setting behind the left end of the Coliseum, the closed end. Now Corral taking his time. Frank now has, we might point out, 7 field goals in a row for Frank, and his PAT total has hit 26 straight. It's just about impossible to have a better rookie season than Frank Corral from UCLA and East Los Angeles has had this year. Corral doing some knee bends back at the 29-yard line. slight delay in the Coliseum, I'm sure, because of a commercial timeout on television. And the fans getting a little edgy here in the Coliseum waiting for it. Los Angeles leading 10-3. The touchdown pass, the only one in the game, Haden Miller, an 8-yarder. That came earlier in the second quarter. Then the Corral field goal. Frank heading it from 43 yards away. And the only score for the Vikings, Danmar, a 42-yard field goal. Now they're all set to go. Miller in the middle, flanked by Washington and McClanahan. Corral has the signal. He gets the kick underway. Spinning kick. Taken at the 4 by Miller. Back to the 10, to the 15, to the 20. Out of a tackle. Down at the 25-yard line. With 4 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in the first half. He is tackled by the Rams specialty team king, Larry Marshall. And Vikings will take over outside their own 25-yard line. So the Minnesota Vikings, with an outstanding offensive attack, will try and get into position to tie up the football game. The Vikings, number 5 overall in the NFC, but they're number 1 in passing, 14th in rushing, last in rushing. That's why they pass so much. They haven't been able to run. Tarkenton back to pass. He pumps. He's still retreating, trying to set up a screen. Incomplete. Dropped at the 18-yard line. The Rams diving for it as if it were a lateral, but it was not. The official says an incomplete pass intended for Cullen. He dropped it. Mike Fanning doing a defensive job for the Los Angeles Rams.
Cullen dropped the ball, but I think that was the best thing that could happen to him dropping the ball. Because had he caught the ball, he was going to get a headache, but they charged him anyway. They came up and knocked him down, and Pat Thomas picked up the loose ball, thinking it was a fumble, but you never know. But the Zeebs, you pick up everything and run it in.
That's right. That's the only smart thing to do. It'll be 2nd and 10 outside the 25 for the Vikes. Again, they have 6 men in the backfield. Now they break them off into a double wing formation. The Rams with the nickel defense to counter. Coming up to play the bump and run. Handoff up the middle of the line. A good individual play by the Rams. As Foreman got the football, he was tackled primarily by Youngblood. And then it was Jim Youngblood who came in for some help. And they shoved him all the way back to inside the 20. Well, where's forward progress? I believe they'll give it to him at the 26-yard line. Will get him back to the line of scrimmage, and that would be it. It'll bring up 3rd and 10. And that's what the Rams need. In the games the Rams have won against the Vikings in the regular season, they have shut down Foreman, and they have shut down Tarkenton, and their offense has not beaten themselves with mistakes. That's the only way they've been able to beat the Vikings, playing perfect football. They'll need another game like this to come out on the plus side this afternoon. A thunderous ovation from this Coliseum crowd. It's 3rd and 10. 26-yard line of the Vikings. The purple gang with the ball, and Tarkenton back to pass. He sets up, throws to the middle. It's Ricky Young over the shoulder at the 45 of the Vikings, and a first down. They will give him forward progress to the 46 as Jim Youngblood made the tackle for Los Angeles, but it was a bit too late as that favorite receiver, Ricky Young, over the shoulder, and he's done that over and over again this year. 88 catches for Young.
You know, we talked about that earlier, Al. It's important that the linebackers or the defensive end can knock off the back coming out of the backfield or on the line of scrimmage just to break his timing down.
6 men again in the offensive backfield. Now they split out. A wide receiver to either side. White near side, Rashawn far side. Handoff to Foreman, who spins through the left side of the line and gains 1, maybe 2, but no more. It'll be 2nd and about 8, I would say, upcoming for the first down for Minnesota. Cody Jones made the tackle. Good year for Cody. 8 sacks, number 1 on the Rams, along with Larry Brooks. We should point out that Brooks started the game but is not playing now. It is Mike Fanning in the game for Los Angeles and has been for some time. Now the Rams take out 2 linebackers in Budzinski and Reynolds, and they bring in the extra defensive back in Cromwell and Isaiah Robertson in the prevent defense. The Vikings with 2 wide receivers to the near side in Wright and Tucker. Rashad to the far side. The backs are split. Talking it back to pass on 2nd and 8. Throws it behind Foreman. Incomplete at the 50. Covering was Jim Youngblood, but it was Tarkenton pressured on the play, who threw it wide of the intended receiver. Cody Jones with the pressure on for Los Angeles.
It'll be interesting to see if Foreman can finish this game. Remember the last time we were in Minnesota, Foreman got kicked out of the ball game for some reason or other, and they're talking to him now. The Ram defensive players are talking determined guy. I'm pretty upset right now.
He told me, he said, I think they made an example of me. He said, the only thing I could have done, maybe I chipped the official's whistle when I was waving at him.
Well, he waved. He was number one.
That's right. The wrong way.
Number one.
The wrong way. 3rd and 8 at the 48 of the Vikings. Double wide receivers near side. Rashad far side. Tarkington throws incomplete. Pressure on again as Billy Simpson blitz. And Tarkington could not get off an accurate pass. And the Rams defense holds again. The Vikings now will have to punt. And they bring in Greg Coleman. And the Rams deploy Jackie Wallace back at the 11 to your right.
Well, there's one thing you can say about Tarkington. I don't care how tough that rush is, he will throw the ball someplace. And he got rid of it, and that's pretty smart on his part. But the Rams proved again why they're the number one defensive team in National Football League.
Coleman back at the 32 to your left. Wallace looking into the setting sun now is at the 13-yard line to your right. Here's the kick. It is a wobbler. He aims for the coffin corner. Picked up at the 15 by Wallace back to the 20, the 25. He can't break loose. He had a channel down the near sideline if he could break 2 tackles at the 30, but that was too much to ask. The officials give him the ball at the 32, and we're down to the 2-minute warning. Time out of the field. 1 minute and 58 seconds to go in the first half of an electrifying football game in the Coliseum. And the score, the Rams 10 and the Vikings 3. And psyched up here right beneath us, Billy Spanos has been leading that Go Rams Go cheer all afternoon. Even the immortal Gypsy Boots, older than Methuselah, is here in the Coliseum. So each Ram fan has been given a blue and gold pom-pom this afternoon by the Rams, and they are waving those pom-poms freely today, in every sense of the word freely. Miller on the near side, Jesse to the far side, and I backfield for Los Angeles of Capoletti and Cullen Bryant. Now Miller in motion to the far side to create a flip. Back to passes Haden. He throws a bullet. It is intercepted by Bobby Bryant at the 48 of the Vikings. And Bryant laterals to the far sideline to Wally Hilgenberg. Hilgenberg on his feet. And Hilgenberg out of bounds in Rams territory at the 42-yard line. Bobby Bryant intercepted the ball in Vikings territory at the 48. And then quickly he lateraled to Hilgenberg, who ran out of bounds at the far sideline. And the Vikings have a big break here as Haden throws an interception in the game. That's his first. Tarkington has coughed up 2. Both of them picked off by Billy Simpson. There apparently is a penalty on that far sideline. It's going to be a big one against the Rams. And the Vikings have incredibly good field position on the 15-yard mark-off. Let's listen for the call, Earl.
Unnecessary roughness, number 82 during the run back, first down.
Willie Miller must have come up with a late hit on that far sideline on Hilgenberg, as it is a personal foul of 15 yards, and the Vikings with Tarkington have it at the 28-yard line of the Rams, and they're in great position to try and tie this game with 1:46 to go in the first half. Vikings trailing by 7, 10-3. Double wide receivers on the near side, including Ricky Young in the slot. Far side, it's right. Pitches to Foreman. An option pass by Foreman. He throws incomplete. Try to hit his man between the hash marks. Ahmad Rashad at the 7-yard line of the Rams as the Vikings tried to fool Los Angeles after that big turnover on a trick play. The option pass by Chuck Foreman, but Foreman was not equal to the occasion.
Well, Minnesota kind of telegraphed that play-action pass with Foreman from the start, so it's pretty easy to pick up. But even at that, Ahmad Rashad did come open. Had Foreman had maybe another half a second, he could have completed that ball and hurt him.
Vikings true to form, try to come up with a big play after a big turnover. Double wide receivers near side. Rashad along with White. Back to pass. It's Tarkington. He throws. Diving catch at the 5-yard line and tumbling down to the 3-yard line, Ricky Young. First and goal to go for the Minnesota Vikings from inside the 3 of the Rams. As Ricky Young, Tarkington's favorite receiver, made a diving, tumbling catch, and his momentum stopped inside the 3. Now the Rams coming in with some extra defensive linemen. They bring in Reggie Das. They bring in Larry Brooks. They bring in Jack Reynolds as they They try to stop the Vikings on a goal line stand. Now Tarkington, looking at all that extra beef, calls a timeout. Timeout called by the Vikings. They have 2 remaining, as do the Rams here in the first half. 1:04 to go in the second quarter.
What the Rams are doing in passing situation, they're coming with the blitz. But when you go with the blitz, you got to get to the quarterback on that blitz. If not, your defense is down in the backfield. You can make completions, and they're knocking. Al, I really believe they're not knocking down the halfbacks coming out of the backfield. And you got to start knocking people like Ricky Young down and Chuck Foreman down coming out just to break that timing up, because Tarkington is not getting that much time to throw the ball because of the rush is good. But they're not taking the backs coming out or the tight end coming out. They're not taking their stride and killing the timing. I think that's what the problem is.
That's one of the things the defense was told specifically, especially when you see Tarkington starting to scramble. You had better knock down those running backs, knock down the wide receivers, so he won't have that pass that he's had over and over again in his career.
Well, see, that's what Tarkington's doing. He's throwing that ball up for grabs because he's being rushed. But if you're going out there clean without being knocked down, you can make the adjustment. You can make the adjustments to the ball once it's in the air.
I see your halftime guest is here already, George Carlin, alias Al Sports.
Yeah, my road buddy is in here now. We got him, George. We can get him.
It's first and goal to go for the Vikings. 3-yard line of the Rams. Tarkington, the quarterback. Robert Miller, Chuck Foreman, the running backs. In motion, Steve Craig. Handoff far side to Foreman. He can't break a tackle behind the line and down at the 5. Freddie Dryer pulled him down for a loss of 2.
That's just good defense. They just stopped Foreman, and Foreman's a little upset. And they're treating him kind of naughty out there right now. And Foreman's really not on his game, but that's just excellent defensive play by the Ram entire defensive squad.
Foreman, wait a minute, Tarkington is irate for some reason. He takes his shin strap and rips it off and throws it on the turf. I wonder what that's all about. They made some substitutions just before he got mad. Perhaps they sent in players he did not want in there. You know that Tarkington calls all his plays, in contrast to a lot of quarterbacks in the National Football League, and that had to be the problem because he charged right over that far sideline to talk to the Vikings brain trust, and he still appears to be very hot.
Well, maybe Tarkington called all his plays except that one. That's what he want to talk to him about. Exactly what he wants to talk to Bud Grant about. You know, a lot of times when a quarterback got that feel, and basically he's on his own 99% of the time out there, he's got something set up. And when something else has been sent in, it changes the whole complexion of his thinking on a play. So now he calls a timeout and goes over, and Bud Grant tells him he's a head coach. And I don't care how long you've been in the game, Fran, you still have to take some orders.
Well, apparently he won this conversation because Steve Craig and Stu White are going out.
Well, he bumped him, huh? Yeah, that was tough.
He pulled rank. Tarkington, as you know, with all that experience, 18 years in the National Football League, is literally a coach on the field, and perhaps better qualified to say what he wants to do than the coaching staff. Second and goal to go for the Vikings. 5-yard line. A shot to the far side. Sammy White, the near side. Running backs Ricky Young along with Chuck Foreman. Well, let's see what Tarkington wanted. He hands it off to Foreman. Foreman trying to middle of the line. He is stopped at the 2-yard line. They place the football down outside the 1, inside the 2. It'll be third and goal to go for Minnesota from about a yard and a foot away. And the tackle made by Freddie Dryer and Cody Jones. Purple shirts break that huddle with Rashad to the far side and White the near side. Tarkington calling the signals. Back to pass. Looks to the end zone. Touchdown, Ahmad Rashad. Wide open in the end zone. Closest man to him was Rob Curry. But Rashad was open by 3 yards. And the Vikings are 1 point away from tying the score.
Now, there's a play there. You're on the goal line. You don't have any room to back up. Once you're standing on the goal line, inside the end zone, you got to come up and play people tough. And evidently, it must have been a blown assignment because Rod Perry was off of Ahmad Rashad too far for that kind of play, and he was too wide open. Something must have broke down there, and that's just bad coverage.
Stadmeyer on the top of the point after touchdown, number tie of the game. Here's the placement. Flags down. The kick is away. The kick is good, but they have flags on the field. Let's see who the penalty is called against. It apparently is against the Los Angeles Rams. The Vikings are charging off the field, and we have yet to receive a preliminary indication. Illegal procedure against Los Angeles. and I believe that will be assessed on the ensuing kickoff, which will take place with only 6 seconds remaining in the first half here in the Coliseum, and the game tied 10-10 in Los Angeles.
Well, that was just a tough break. The Rams came out there after they made a good defensive move, turned the ball over to Haden. Haden threw the first play for an interception, then tacked on a penalty for unnecessary roughness, which really hurt the defense. They've been out there a long time. They're doing their job, but it's hard to work with your back against the wall. But the Rams are not out of this thing if you just keep their poise out there on the field.
Now with a 10-10 score, they're not out of it.
But you can't lose your poise after a bit, too. And that's very important at this point.
Well, these two teams have done this kind of thing 4 previous times. The Rams are hoping it'll have a different outcome. They'd like to drink the bubbly champagne for a change instead of the flat champagne.
And Coca-Cola's.
Anything. So that penalty is assessed on the kickoff, and so the Vikings will boot it from the 40-yard line to your left, close into the Coliseum. Dan Meyer now looking for a level spot to place down the tee and the football to top it. The Rams have Jim Jodat in the center of the field, flanked on the far side by Rod Phillips, the near side by Larry Marshall. Game tied 10-10. Now the clock will not start until the ball is possessed by a Ram safety. And they kick it on the ground. One of the up men will take it. It is Reisig at the 25, lateraling back to Jim Jodat, who cuts up the middle of the field and down at the 33, and time runs out. And that'll end the first half here in the Coliseum with the score, the Rams 10 and the Vikings 10.
We're standing deep.
50% outside the 40-yard line. The Rams will try to get to him. Here's the placement. The kick is away. It has the distance and the accuracy. He splits the uprights from 42 yards away.
That gave the Vikings an early 3-0 lead, but the Rams came back to take advantage of a couple of outstanding plays. A Haden to Jesse pass for 29 yards, and this run by Cullen Bryant set up the Rams touchdown.
To the far side, middle of the near side, wide split in the backfield. It's 2nd and 7, 28-yard line. Big opening up the middle of the field. Cullen Bryant, he's down to the 15, down to the
That drive covered 59 yards in 8 plays. The conversion by Corral made it 7-3 Rams. Then the Rams upped that lead to 10-3 when Corral kicked this 43-yarder with 4:25 remaining.
The top field goal kicker in the NFL awaiting the snap from Reisig, along with Cromwell. The Vikings will try to block. Here's the placement. The kick is away. It has the distance. It is good.
That made the score Rams 10, Vikings 3, but Tarkington and his teammates were not through. With only 6 seconds remaining before halftime, Tarkington threw this touchdown pass to Ahmad Rashad.
Purple shirts break out Holland with Rashad to the far side and White the near side. Tarkington calling the signals. Back to pass. Looks to the end zone. Touchdown, Ahmad Rashad. Wide open in the end zone. Closest man to him was Rob Curry, but Rashad was open by 3 yards, and the Vikings are 1 point away from tying the score.
Dan Meyer tacked on that extra point, and it's a tie game at halftime. 10-10. Let's pause for station identification. Play more action in this 10-10 tie. Here again is Al Wisk.
Thanks very much, Steve Bailey. And one significant stat from that first half, the interception by Bobby Bryant, the 6th he has had in postseason play. And he always seems to come up with a big play against the Rams. All this week, he would not talk to the press to psych himself up. Came up with a big interception. Tarkington converted, so you'd have to say, with the Vikings scoring that touchdown just before the end of the half, momentum now is in their corner. It's up to the Rams to try and turn it around in the second half of the 10-10 tie. Rams with Marshall on the near side, Phillips the far side, Jim Jonette in the middle. They're in the peristyle end of the Coliseum, that end of the field. Here's Dan Meyer starting forward. A high end-over-end booming kick. Back at the 6-yard line is Jodak. He's back to the 10, the 15-yard line, the 20 far side of the field, the 25-yard line, runs over tackles at the 30-yard line, and he's up to the 34. Stopped by John Turner, the cornerback for the Vikings, and now Los Angeles will put it in play, knowing full well that they made one mistake offensively in that first half, and that led to the only Viking touchdown of the game. The white shirts of the Rams, gold Rams horns, blue helmets, gold trousers. They flank out Jesse to the far side, Miller the near side. The backs are split. John Caplety and Cullen Bryant. Caplety left, Cullen Bryant right. Cullen gets the call, cutting laterally across the 35-yard line. He is up to the 37 and stopped from a kneeling position by Wally Hilgenberg. The Vikings going with a 3-4 defense to start off the second half of play. It will now be second down for the Rams. They give him a gain of 3 yards, so it's second and 7. Miller to the near side, the outside man. Inside is Jesse, so that's a flip formation, a slot to the near side. And I backfield with Cappelletti and Cullen Bryant. A handoff to the tailback. Cullen Bryant weaving his way through the line across the 40. He is up to the 43, a yard short of the first down. As Wally Hilgenberg, the 15-year man from Iowa, made the tackle. Now let's point out, with Hilgenberg in, what that leaves the Vikings vulnerable to. Hilgenberg does not cover well in the pass. You don't expect that from a man with 15 years in the National Football League. So when he's in there, they should be vulnerable to that. But he's out right now as they bring Doug Sutherland back in the game. So it's Marshall, White, Sutherland, and Mulaney. Linebackers McNeil, Seaman, and Blair. The Rams have shifted on offensive linemen. At right guard, they've taken out Hara and put in Doug Smith. Hara is hobbling on the near sideline. He's had trouble with an ankle all year long. 5 cortisone shots. He hoped it would hold out. Maybe it won't. Rams are in tight. It is 3rd and 2 Los Angeles. 43 and Rams are offside. Haden rolling out to the far side. Tripped from behind. Double flags down. Jim Marshall got him as the Rams, one of their tight ends, starting too early and offside. And the penalty should be against Los Angeles. It is. The Vikings dump Haden behind the line of scrimmage, so they again have a question of what they are going to do. The ball is now at the 37-yard line, and it looks like they may just decline that penalty. Illegal motion against Los Angeles. It's against Charlie Young. It's declined, and that will bring up now 4th down for the Rams, and they will have to punt with Glenn Walker in the game.
Dennis Hara, when he came off the field with an injury, I think it's like in the shoulder, a pinched nerve or something above the waist, and maybe he's getting the circulation back in there. I was talking to trainer George Menifee, and he said sometimes they can get the circulation back in there, they can bounce back.
So it is not the ankle, it's the pinched nerve he had earlier this year. Walker standing back, 22-yard line, peristyle end, low snap, flags it, pressure on, but he gets it underway, and it's a booming kick. All the way back is Miller, back to the 15, started stepping forward, gets an initial block, but is driven out of bounds at the 16-yard line, far side of the field. Rod Phillips, good downfield pursuit for Los Angeles, and there had to be incredible hang time on that punt. It was 4.4 seconds in the air, 48 yards in length, a return of only 1. Maybe one of the better punts of the season for Glenn Walker.
Well, the first 2 punts Walker had, it seemed like he was kicking a heavy ball, like the ball was too heavy for his foot, and he couldn't get it off. But that time, he aired it out pretty good. Good punt.
The Vikings put it in gear offensively at their own 16-yard line. This game is tied 10-10. Tarkenton brought him back at the end of the first half. 6 men in the backfield. Now they shift out with Rashad and Young to the far side. Tucker near side, outside man right. Lone setback for him and gets the call. Stop behind the line immediately as the ball is handed off to him at the 11-yard line. An incredible play by Freddie Dyer. He had to be offside, but he wasn't. We look for flags on the field, and they're going to give him forward progress to the 14-yard line as Freddie Dyer made an absolutely incredible play. Well, he's known for his quickness, and he just fired across that offensive line to come up with a big play. It is now 2nd and 12. The Rams with the nickel defense in. Vikings. 3 wide receivers. Back to pass. Young has it at the 15-yard line. And pullouts right there. This Coliseum crowd ecstatic as it is a gain of only across the 15. So it still brings up 3rd and 11 for the Vikings at their own 15-yard line. Isaiah Robertson, Jim Youngblood, the linebackers, 5 defensive backs, the extra man Cromwell, 4 men on the line, Dreyer, Fanning, Jones, and Youngblood trying to shut down the Vikings in their own end. Tarkington, 2 wide receivers on the near side, 1 on the far side, 2 running backs. He calls the signals. Back to pass, 3rd and 11, throws long to Foreman, incomplete. Foreman tried to catch it on one hand like the Statue of Liberty, leaping in the air at the 45, but he was sandwiched by Billy Simpson down there. Simpson and Jimmy Youngblood, and the Rams have held the Vikings.
That's just good team defense, Al. When you play together with 11 men out there doing it all at the same time, that's where you get it done and put them in punting situation. That's good defense.
That's Greg Coleman back at his own goal line to punt again. Jackie Wallace is up at the 45 of the Rams and creeping up further to the 46. The Rams might try to block this one with Coleman on the goal line. They have now 10 men on the line of scrimmage, and now they fall back. They fall back for the return end-over-end punt, hanging in the air, coming down, grabbed by Wallace at the 35. He's back to the 40, the 45, the 50, trying to pick a block at the 45 and down to the 44 of the Vikings. Great field position for Los Angeles as they take over with 11 minutes and 31 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. And the score with a timeout on the field, the Vikings 10 and the Rams 10.
If you were born between the years...
Every year they have beaten the Rams for one reason or another. Same thing, the case going into this game. They're not the better team on paper, but they have tied the Rams 10-10 as we start the second half of play. New wide receivers for the Rams, Scales and Roddy. Roddy near side, Scales far side. Running backs, Cullen, Bryant, and it's the end around to Billy Roddy trying to pick up a block. He's at the 45, he's at the 40, cutting inside and down to the 35. 1 yard away from the first down. It'll be 2nd and 1 for the Rams from the 35 of the Vikes.
There's a case there. John Williams didn't know when to make his move, and when you go on a reverse like that, John keeps waiting for the reverse man with the ball to come up and tell him go, so he can go upfield and make the block. And maybe Waddy couldn't yell it out loud enough to him, and they had bad communication. Had John Williams made the one block, could have been 6 with Waddy.
Double wide receivers far side. The old ones are back in. The starters. Miller inside. Jesse outside. And I backfield. Capletta is the fullback. The tailback is Cullen Bryant. Haden calling the singles. It is 2nd and 1. Gibbs at the Bryant. He's got the first down. His legs turning down to the 30.
That's just power play by Bryant. That's what he can do best, is give that ball deep, let him have a head of steam, and he'll get the first down for you every time.
1st and 10 Rams, 30-yard line of the Vikings. It's very important for Los Angeles to come back at the start of this 3rd quarter because the Vikings had taken over momentum at the end of the 2nd quarter. The fans cheering here in the Coliseum, waving those gold and blue pom-poms. 1st and 10 Los Angeles, 30-yard line of the Vikings. Wide receiver to either side. Hand off on the crossbuck up the middle. It's to Cullen Bryant. He rips off 5 down to the 25-yard line before he stops standing up by the middle of the Vikings defensive line and left linebacker Matt Blair. It'll be 2nd and 5 for the Rams at the 25. Rams football brought to you by Budweiser. You know, this is the perfect time to enjoy the smooth taste of Budweiser on weekends. While you're doing your weekend chores, it's just relaxing. Team up with the King of Beers. Jesse to the right, Miller to the left. The backs are split. John Capilotti and Cullen Bryant. Haden calling the signals from the 25 of the Vikings. It's 2nd and 5. Looking over that purple gang defense. Short drop, back to pass. Caught at the 18-yard line. And stretching forward to the 17-yard line is Ron Jesse for a Ram first down.
That was a good play and good communication there. What Haden did, I think, was the secret of the whole completion of the pass was get the ball of Jesse fast. Then that would give him time to make the adjustment if the ball's thrown low or behind him, and it worked out well and picked up the first down.
Haden has had difficulty passing in this game. He is 7 of 16. That's one of only 7 completions. Jesse and Miller to the near side. Slot formation. Wide split in the backfield on 1st and 10 from the 18. He's back to pass. He throws. Terry Nelson wide open to the 10. He's up to 5. He's down. It is 1st and goal to go for the Rams from the 5 of the Vikings.
Terry Nelson had the ball one-on-one. They just went down and tried to deliver a blow. You got a straight arm. You can use it in that situation and get into that end zone.
1st and goal to go. Miller on the near side. Haden asking for quiet. Jesse to the far side. Wide spin in the backfield. Haden calling the signals. He turns. He hands off to Cullen Bryant down to the 3-yard line. Off the left side of the offensive line of the Rams. And James Duck White, number 1 pick in 76, who replaced Alan Page this year, made the tackle. Now the Rams in close, bring in that jumbo offense, and very quickly Bud Grant counters with more beef along his defensive line. Miller is out, Jesse is out, extra tight end is Terry Nelson. The extra running back is Ron Phillips. The crowd going absolutely berserk in the Coliseum, waving those pom-poms. It is 2nd and goal to go. 3 yards away. Haden calling the signals. The backs are split. Jumbo offense in the game. Pat turns. He's going to pass. He has it patted away. Batted away by Mark Mullaney as Haden had men open at the goal line in the end zone, but Mullaney stuck up a paw and batted the ball away. It'll be 3rd down for the Rams after 3 of the Vikings.
The most important part of that play, when you're running play action like that, the back is taking the fake. Cullen Bryant has to come up and knock that defensive end down on the line of scrimmage. Don't let him penetrate, because that's where you don't want him to be, and that's why he knocked the pass down on Haden. That's tough.
Now there's a timeout on the field as Haden wants to come over and talk to the Rams bench. And if there's any time to call a timeout this early in the second half, this is it. Figure out exactly what you're going to do. See if you can get some advice from the coaches who have an up-top view of it in the press box, and then make your move. Timeout on the field with 7 minutes, 27 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter, and the score tied at 10. And goal to go from the 3-yard line for the Rams. Jumbo offense in. 6 defensive linemen in also for the Vikings. Haden calling the signals. He turns. He hands off to Cullen Bryant, going wide. Cutting it for a touchdown. The Coliseum rocking as the Rams go out in front 16-10 with 7 minutes and 22 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter as Haden came to the sideline. He consulted with Charlie Walter and the offensive assistants. Then, with the play in mind, went for the outside, handing off to Cullen Bryant, had a convoy in front of him, cut into the far end of the end zone, close end of the Coliseum, and the Rams now lead by 6. It's Frank Corella on the try and make it 7. Here's the snap up coming by Rysick on target. The placement, the kick is good. Time out in the field with 7 minutes and 22 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter, and the Rams raising their arms in the air as they lead the field. The score, the Rams 17 and the Vikings 10. Washington, Robert Miller, and Brent McClanahan, the deep men from right to left, close under the Coliseum. Frank Corral, who's had a perfect afternoon today, waiting to kick off, has the ball teed up 35-yard line to your right. He starts forward, swings his foot into the football. It's a spinning kick, end over end. It is taken by McClanahan, starting at the 10, up to the 15, the 20. He tries to spin out of the tackle, but swung down at the 27-yard line of the Vikings. And Parkinson will get the ball again. Let's pause for station identification. This is Rams Radio 78. Go to the NFC Championship game. The loser waits till next year. 3 receivers on the near side. Triple wing formation for the Vikings. Parkinson back to pass on 1st down. He throws incomplete behind Foreman, who scrambles to pick it up just in case it was a lateral. Heads up football by him. But it's ruled an incomplete pass. The angle of the pass was past the line of scrimmage, not lateral to it. As a result, an incomplete incomplete pass. That will bring up now 2nd and 10. With the line of scrimmage, the 27 of the Vikings, and prevent comes in Isaiah Robertson and Cromwell.
Well, Tarkenton found out one thing. He can't throw those little short passes beyond the line of scrimmage. What he's doing now, he's unloading to the backs of what we call a safety valve coming out of the backfield. Because he doesn't want that blow, and the rails are fired up now.
The Vikings in the game have run only 10 times. Those all by Foreman, who's a lone setback in the backfield, a double wing formation, 2 wide receivers to either side. The handoff to Foreman and a plunge up the middle on his feet, up to the 30-yard line, but stopped after a gain of only 2, maybe 3. It'll be 3rd and about 7 upcoming is Jimmy Youngblood, who's had a great year, shredded by the Pro Bowl, but that can't take away the season he's had with 2 fumble recoveries, 2 interceptions, 6 sacks, 2 sacks against the Minnesota Vikings. 80 tackles this year, number 1 on the Rams. It's 3rd and 7, 30-yard line of the Vikings. Again, 6 men in the offensive backfield. Now they split out. It is a formation with 2 wide receivers on the near side, 1 on the far side. Tarkenton releases the back, goes down the far sideline, throws it away. Tarkenton cannot move the ball. The Vikings drive goals at the 30 of Minnesota. The Rams defense holds again, and they'll have to punt with Greg Coleman coming in.
That's good team play again. And Tarkenton's just throwing that ball away, Al. He feels the pressure now rather than just throwing it up for grabs. He's throwing it in the stands right now.
Tarkenton, who was hitting almost 100% earlier in the game, now is 14 of 28 for 179 yards. Coleman back at the 15-yard line to your left, close into the Coliseum, gets the snap, gets the kick away. It's a low spinning kick line driver. Might be a return. Wallace takes it on the